The Epic Battle of Alesia by Worthington is a reprint of the Avalon Hill Classic, which was released in the 1970s. Does the game translate well to the 21st century? This video will help you find out. The game represents one of the most unique battles in history. In 52 BC, Caesar's Roman forces had surrounded Alesia that contained the Gallic leader Vercingetorix and his forces. They built ramparts and forts to keep them in. However, knowing that a relief force was going to be on their way, Caesar constructed an outer ring of forts and ramparts to withstand their assault. This created a donut-shaped double line of walls and fortifications that the Romans had to hold to win the battle. The components for the game start with a 34 by 44 mounted map in 2 sections, 2 copies of the rulebook that is 12 pages long, an off-board chart, a shield for the Gallic player to hide where his off-board forces are located, 4 counter sheets, 2 player's aids, a counter tray, and a single 6-sided die. The map uses hexes to regulate movement and to determine the range between units for firing of missiles. There is a terrain effects chart which dictates the effects of different terrain on the board. The Roman player begins by placing all their units on the board between the inner and outer walls, along with the Roman camp and Mount Rhea. This includes Roman fort counters which cannot be within 5 hexes of Alesia, 2 hexes from the edge of the board, and at least 3 hexes apart from each other. Once completed, all blue Gallic forces are placed within the walls of Alesia, which includes their leader, Vercingetorix. Such units may be stacked 3 high while in the city. All green Gallic units are placed on the off-board chart, which has 10 boxes. The Roman numerals in each box depict the entry zone on the board. The player's screen is used to keep the Roman player from seeing where your Gallic forces are located. The Roman numerals also indicate on which game turn during the first assault phase the forces within the box may enter the board. For example, Gallic forces in box number 10 may enter on turn number 2. Once placed at the start of the game, they cannot be changed until the setup portion of the second assault phase. The assault marker is now placed on the first box of the assault track, and the turn marker is placed on the turn 1 space. And now you are ready to play. The game consists of 2 assault days that last 12 turns each. At the end of the 12th turn on the first day, all blue Gallic units that are outside Alesia are picked up and placed back within the city. All green Gallic units are removed from the board and placed on their off-board chart corresponding to their closest off-board location. For example, if a green Gallic unit was closest to number 8 entry zone using a straight line measurement, then it would be placed in the number 8 box. In addition, 10% of the eliminated strength points, not units but points, of all forces can now be restored with fractions rounded down. Remember to separate the eliminated strength points of the blue and green Gallic units. Once strength point number is established, you may pay strength points to restore a unit equal to its original strength point value. The blue Gallic units are placed anywhere in Alesia. The green units are placed in the off-board chart before the Roman player sets up for the next assault turn. Once completed, the Gallic player may move any or all of their forces by 1 or 2 boxes in either direction, all while keeping it hidden from the Roman player. Afterward, the Roman player may now set up the replacements and reset all the combat units, including leaders but not forts, as if it were for the beginning of the game. Once completed, all Roman cohort units are flipped to their front sides. While the first assault turn restricts Gallic units from entering until their turn number of their respective boxes are reached, the second assault turn allows all Gallic units to enter at the player's discretion. For the sequence of play, the Gallic player begins by flipping all disrupted units to their face-up side. This is followed by moving all units on the board that the Gallic player wants to move. After that, if any Gallic off-board units are eligible, which is based on their current turn, to be moved, they may do so using the off-board chart. Next, the effects of the defensive works are applied to the Gallic units that are in a defensive works terrain hex and are in the zone of control of a Roman unit. Once applied, the Roman player may now resolve missile fire from eligible Roman units that target Gallic units. After the missile fire, the Gallic player resolves all shock combat that is caused by the Gallic movement, which can be seen on the shock combat chart. Retreats and advances are immediately conducted after each battle based on the results. Now, the Roman player may move all the units they want. Once completed, the Roman player resolves all shock combat that is caused by the movement on the shock combat chart. All retreats and advances are immediately applied after each battle based on the results. When the Roman shock combat phase is over, determine if either player has achieved their respective victory conditions. If not, the next turn begins. As with many classic war games, all units have a zone of control that extends into the hexes adjacent to each unit. The zone of control applies to all terrain except for reaching within Alesia itself, any Roman fort, whether inside or outside, and off the board. Units must stop when entering the zone of control of an enemy unit. They may not move from one zone of control to the zone of control of another enemy unit. Roman units may stack 3 per hex, while Gallic units may stack only 2 per hex. The stacking limits apply only at the end of each movement phase. Forts and leader units do not count against the stacking limitations. An exception is in Alesia itself, where up to 3 Gallic units may be stacked in each hex. But keep in mind that Alesia is just a holding box, and units may enter or leave Alesia to any outside hex where they must follow the 2-unit stacking limit. Roman units may never enter or be adjacent to Alesia. Stacking limits do not apply to the off-board track. It costs a single movement point for each Gallic unit to move onto the board from their respective off-board box. Once they enter, they cannot retreat to that box. If forced to retreat off the board, they are eliminated instead. The Gallic forces within Alesia may not leave the town until the turn after 10 or more Gallic units have ended their movement phase either on or have crossed the defensive works and at least 1 shock combat has been resolved. When that requirement has been met, the Gallic player randomly draws one of 4 counters with question marks on the back and places it question mark side up on the current turn box. The number underneath will indicate when the Gallic forces may leave Alesia. Only the Gallic player may look at that number. The victory conditions for the Epic Battle of Alesia are simple. The Gallic player wins if he moves Vercingetorix off the map during any turn. The Roman player wins if he moves any combat unit adjacent to Vercingetorix at any time, or eliminates Vercingetorix with missile fire, or if Vercingetorix is still on the map at the end of the second assault turn. And that is a general overview of what the Epic Battle of Alesia presents for players. Future videos in the series will explore the mechanics of combat, along with terrain, wall, and river examples as presented in the rulebook. Thank you for watching. You can find more videos on how to play games, along with rules explanations, play examples, unboxings, and more when you subscribe to the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel. In addition, there is a monthly Speak Out and Play podcast which is posted on the Seek Out and Play YouTube channel on the last Wednesday of each month. At least one new video is released every week, so I will see you next Wednesday.